So cancer cells have several features that distinguish them from the normal cells, which is what we just kind of went through. And there is a difference between what's called a benign and a malignant tumor. Metastasis is the process through which cancer cells, which are the cells that they show here within the body in white, and so metastasis is where they separate from a tumor and move throughout the body. If you've ever heard of anybody that's had cancer in their lymph nodes, that tends to be one of the cancers that spreads very easily to other cells around the body. Because as it gets into the circulatory system, it moves and circulates throughout the body, and that's called tumor metastasizing. That's where it spreads around the body, and it says prognosis worsens. Prognosis is like the chance of death. If something is a benign tumor, that means it isn't going to spread throughout the body and take over and overwhelm the body. But a malignant tumor, a cancerous tumor, that's the dangerous kind of cancerous tumors. And so metastasizing is when it spreads through the body in the circulatory system.
So basically what you're saying is all tumors are essentially cancerous in the fact that they come from cells that are still divided.
Right, but it's not cancerous until it's sucking so much of the resources from the body and growing out of control. So you could have tumors that are benign, that are non-cancerous, and they are due to the same process, basically the same process, but if they're benign, they're not going to spread throughout the body, and they're not, it's not something that you could kill off with like chemotherapy or radiation.
So why is it that benign tumors don't spread? What makes them different?
I don't know that I could do justice to explaining that. I will look up more for that, and I'll see if I can explain it better the next time. I don't want to give you a bullshit answer, but I could probably make something up that would sound good. I don't want to do that to you. So I don't know, but I will find out. So cancer, this uncontrolled growth and lack of cells recognizing one another. So here we've got our danger of cancer cells, where we have, like in the example of the lungs, if we have a malignant tumor developing in lung tissue, as it gets larger and larger, that space that you need for your lungs, that you need to extract all of that oxygen that your body needs, that tumor isn't doing what the lung cells are doing. And you need those lung cells in order to be healthy. And so as that tumor takes up more and more area, you're getting less and less oxygen that you need, and it's taking more and more resources from your body. And so it basically impinges on your other cells. It can disrupt the functions like the extraction of oxygen that you need in order to be able to survive. And eventually, if it takes up too much room and it doesn't allow you to breathe, then that's going to be disastrous. So one of the awful things about cancer, and from anybody that's ever known anyone that has cancer, cancer is bad, but the treatment for cancer is just as bad. Treating somebody that has cancer, for some people who are healthy before they get cancer, it can be not as harsh, but for children or for people with weakened immune systems or for people that are elderly, when you go through radiation and when you go through chemotherapy, it can be just as devastating to the body. Introducing through chemotherapy chemicals in the body that are going to kill off the cancer cells, it's going to do a lot of damage to the body, to the regular body cells, as well as the cancer cells. And so that chemotherapy, it's going throughout your entire body. And then radiation has definitely made cancer more treatable, because when you radiate the cells, you can often do so right at the specific point where the cancer is. So radiating skin cells is easy. If you have a malignant skin cancer, then treating it with radiation, I don't want to say it's easy, but it's easier to do than if you had liver cancer or lung cancer. If you're trying to radiate the lungs, They are inside of your body, and they're hard to get to. So that's why lung cancer is such a killer. Liver cancer is such a killer. Pancreatic cancer. Whenever they get to the internal organs, they're often very, very hard to treat. If they're in your bone marrow, that's one of the most difficult. And unfortunately, that's one of the ones that kids get so often. And it's so awful. I don't know if I ever told you guys this. My brother is the donor relations coordinator for Akron Children's Hospital. So he goes out and collects money to help Akron Children's Hospital grow. And he works a lot with these kids. We go around doing fundraisers and trying to raise money for them so that no matter who goes into the hospital, even if they can't pay, Akron Children's Hospital won't turn anyone away. And some of these stories about these kids with cancer is just, it's unbelievable. It's amazing. Cancer, unrestrained cell growth and division. They are growing, not recognizing each other, and dividing out of control and forever. They can lead to these large masses of cells called malignant tumors, and those cause all kinds of health problems. And then the treatment to focus on killing them or slowing them down through chemotherapy or radiation is often just as devastating as the actual disease. So that's where we're going to end up there, I guess on a high note. That's kind of a depressing place to end. But if there's anything else that we need to talk about, or if you want to come see me and discuss anything, then I'll be around here for a little bit. And if you're not reading, if you haven't read through chapters 5 and 6, you should do that. Do it. What? Well, thank you. I didn't write the textbook. I wrote the